All it takes is one game for a footballer to make his name. The likes of Marcus Rashford and Wayne Rooney became overnight sensations back in their teenage years, but who will be next? Here is every Premier League club's best teenager right now. Arsenal, Gabriel Martinelli. In a tough season for the Gunners, Gabriel Martinelli has been a beacon of hope at the Emirates. The Brazilian arrived this summer with little fanfare and reputation, yet now he's arguably one of their most important players for the future. In a team that boasts Aubameyang and Lacazette, Martinelli has been afforded chances to shine, and that's exactly what he's done in the Premier League and Europa League. Despite just being 18, Martinelli's hit double figures already, and it certainly won't be the last time he does it in an Arsenal shirt. Although he could leave, so it might be the last time actually. Aston Villa, Louis Barry. Aston Villa needed a striker in January, and they actually ended up signing a fair few. But while Samatta and Baston are for the present, Louis Barry is one for the future. The forward, who can also play out wide, is just 16 years old, but what a career he's had already. He started not far down the road at West Brom, then his career actually took him all the way to the new camp, with Barcelona signing him in 2019, with PSG also keen. Barry is now back in England and should be a future Aston Villa star, emerging from the academy like a current Villa hero by the name of Jack Grealish. Bournemouth, Christian Sadi. Picking a player for Bournemouth is actually pretty tough, as a lot of the youngsters have just turned 20 and left their teenage years behind them. But we've got Christian Sadi, a 17-year-old who's making a big impression for the Cherries' youth sides. He's the under-18's top scorer and has already spent a lot of time training with the first team, such are his talents. Eddie Howe is well aware of what Sadi is capable of, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a debut before the season ends, providing Bournemouth can achieve survival early enough. Brighton, Tariq Lamptey. A January signing for the Seagulls, last month was a pretty exciting one for Tariq Lamptey. The 18-year-old made his Premier League debut, coming off the bench in a win for Chelsea against Arsenal. But by the start of February, Lamptey was actually a Brighton player, after signing a 3.5-year deal at the Amex. He's probably got a better chance of games there, and he certainly has the ability to make a quick impression. Incredibly fast and confident in possession, Lamptey could be Brighton's right back for the next 10 years or more. Burnley, Henry Ogunbi. Now that Dwight McNeil's 20, who is Burnley's best teenager? Well, we've decided to go with Henry Ogunbi, another winger who has actually just joined Burnley, arriving from Man City in January. Ogunbi had previously been prolific from out wide for the City youth sides, and now has until the end of the season to prove that he has what it takes to be a Burnley player. End product is the most important thing for wingers, and it looks like Ogunbi's got it. Just imagine him and McNeil racing down opposite flanks, whipping balls in for Chris Wood or Ashley Barnes. Chelsea, Calum Hudson-Odoi. Amid Frank Lampard's young Chelsea stars, Calum Hudson-Odoi is currently the teenager to watch. Sure, the likes of Billy Gilmore could surpass him in years to come, but right now Hudson-Odoi is the man, oh boy, considering he's only 19. Despite his age, the winger shows a lot of maturity in dangerous positions, learning to tee up a teammate rather than go for goal himself. He's a creative force who's only going to get better and better, and will have outside hopes of playing for England at this summer's European Championships. Crystal Palace, Brandon Pierrick. An 18-year-old who made his Premier League debut on New Year's Day against Norwich, that certainly won't be Brandon Pierrick's last appearance in a Palace shirt in the top flight. The youngster is one to watch, and considering Roy Hodgson's struggles offensively, it's a wonder we haven't actually seen more of Pierrick in blue and red. He's been an Eagle since the age of 8, so playing at Selhurst Park will likely be a huge deal for him. Everton, Moise Kean. Until Friday, Moise Kean is actually still a teenager. Despite struggling so far at Everton, it's clear why Keane is one of the hottest rated strikers in Europe, and Everton need to start getting more of a player who could be the Romelu Lukaku replacement they so desperately needed ever since he left. Leicester City, Luca Thomas. The Foxes seem to have a knack of producing decent left backs. Their current first choice is Ben Chilwell, and he's probably going to be England's best going into the summer, but behind the scenes there's another left back eager to impress. 18-year-old Luke Thomas could very well follow in Chilwell's footsteps in the coming years, having signed his first professional contract at the King Power last April. Liverpool, Curtis Jones. As we've seen in the Cups this season, Liverpool have some sensational teenagers, but the one I've decided to pick out is Curtis Jones. The midfielder was the hero against Everton in the FA Cup third round, and has shown an incredible maturity despite being just 19 years old. Silky in possession, getting himself into good positions and influencing the game, Jones has all the makings of a Premier League midfielder, and Liverpool can probably save themselves a fair few quid by playing him instead of dipping into the transfer market this summer. Manchester City, Phil Foden. An absolute no-brainer. The 19-year-old midfielder could be England's best player in the coming years, the only issue is going to be getting him on the pitch. Despite calls from everyone, Pep Guardiola resisted temptation to send Foden out on loan, instead keeping him close by, handing him games here and there against a variety of different opponents. When David Silva goes, that could be Foden's golden opportunity, but he needs to get the minutes to prove why he's going to go from the best teenager around to a future England midfielder. Manchester United, Mason Greenwood. In a bleak season for Manchester United, Mason Greenwood has given some hope for the future. For a lad so young, Mason Greenwood is absolutely lethal in front of goal. He can score all types of goals, showing a lethal instinct that you rarely see in someone at the age of 18. In years to come, he'll grow to be more and more important at Old Trafford and could possibly be a future Premier League Golden Boot winner. Newcastle United, Matty Longstaff. What's better than one Longstaff? Two Longstaffs. Sean broke through last year, and this season belongs to Matty, the younger ginger bro who scored against Manchester United on his debut, then repeated the same trick at Old Trafford, even if they did end up losing that game 4-1. Matty's a tidy little footballer who has end product as well, scoring a fair few goals from midfield in a Newcastle team that can barely muster up a shot on goal. His contract expires this summer, and the Magpies will be making a serious mistake if they fail to tie him down. Norwich City, Adam Idah. When Timu Pukki decides to leave Carrow Road, Norwich have already got his replacement lined up. Adam Idah is ready to go in the senior game, and he proved as much in the FA Cup in January. The Irish striker netted a fantastic hat-trick against Preston, showing composure at the crucial moments to score his first ever senior hat-trick, which is impressive considering it was the first time he'd actually ever scored a senior goal as well. Norwich look somewhat doomed in the Premier League, but they have young players ready to kick on and go again next season in the Championship. Sheffield United, Marcus Dewhurst. I didn't really know who to pick for Sheffield United, so I searched long and hard through my book of contacts and asked a Sheffield United fan from work. Lee Connor, who writes for the excellent SheffieldUnited.news, nominated Marcus Dewhurst, an 18-year-old goalkeeper who was training with the first team over the summer, now spending his time out on loan at Guiseley. With Dean Henderson likely to leave in the summer, Dewhurst might be needed next season, especially when the Blades head to the Nou Camp to face Barcelona in the Champions League. Southampton, Michael Obafemi. A young Irish striker just waiting to be the main man at Southampton, Michael Obafemi might be waiting a while if Danny Ings continues to play like he has this season. But Obafemi has still received opportunities of his own and proved to be a nuisance for Premier League defenders, netting a stunning goal against Chelsea over the Christmas period. At 19, Obafemi has played a lot of football, but mainly as a substitute. The one thing he needs is to be starting games, but will that happen soon? Tottenham, Ryan Sessegnon. Spurs have a fair few teenagers who could have a huge impact in years to come, but the most important right now is Ryan Sessegnon. The left-sided player has had a season hindered by injuries, but he's started to feature more and more under Jose Mourinho, and he is hoping he can achieve his potential. Whether he's left back or left wing, Sessegnon is dangerous. He showed that with Fulham in the Championship when he was barely out of nappies, and at Tottenham, the sky is certainly the limit. Watford, João Pedro. The 18-year-old forward completed his move to Watford in January, and it's fair to say this is a player who Hornets fans should be desperately excited about. They pulled off a real deal when they got Richarlison in, and this could be even better. During his brief time with Fluminense, he scored some cracking goals, and hopefully it won't take him long to adapt to English football, as Watford certainly need a spot in the final third if they're going to stay in the top flight. West Ham, Gonçalo Cardoso. Last summer, West Ham signed a teenage centre-half by the name of Gonçalo Cardoso, and for our money, he's the best teenager they've got right now. Despite being just 19, Cardoso has a fair bit of first-team experience before moving to the Premier League, and it surely won't be long before he's playing senior football at West Ham, especially if they drop down to the Championship. And finally, Wolves, Pedro Neto. This guy's going to be special, and as long as you're watching this video before March 9th, he's still a teenager. Pedro Neto joined Wolves in the summer from Braga, receiving the number 7 shirt, which seemed like a pretty big deal for a player most of us knew nothing about. But as the season gone on, Neto's played more and more, and he's getting better and better, giving Nuno even more options going forward with his blistering pace and dribbling ability. When VAR stops costing him goal after goal, he'll definitely be a Premier League star. So there we have it, that's every Premier League club's best teenager right now. Let us know who you think your clubs is in the comments below. You can follow me on Twitter, I'm at HITC James, and more importantly don't forget to like, share and subscribe as we continue on the road to 400,000 subscribers.